I got all I want, and I got all I need, and I got everything. I got you and me. All I want, I got all
Marriage is the best. Hi, welcome back to Marriage is the Best. Today I have the most specialist of all the guests on, and it's my wife.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming and being on the show. It's been a while.
Yeah, a little minute.
We, back by popular demand is all I'll say.
No, just your persistent begging.
Yeah, that's fair. Yes, I am persistent, and you do make me beg. That could apply to a lot of things, actually.
No.
We're not going there.
No.
All right. Period. We've ended that segment. Today we're going to talk about the fourth year of our marriage. This is 2018 to 2019. And at this time, we have children.
We've got a few. We have a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, all girls. And towards the end of the year, we get pregnant again.
Yeah. 2018 is the year of our marriage that we do not birth a baby. It's the first year of our marriage that we don't birth a baby. And at this time, we turn 25.
Doesn't our fourth arrive right before I turn 25?
2019 is when number 4 was born.
Uh-huh.
And we were born in 93. So that would be 26. Yeah, 26. So yeah, we turned 25 this year.
So number 4 is born right before I turned 26.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I remember the irony of my mom telling us that we couldn't get married until we were 25, and then flashing forward until we're 25 and having all 4 of our kids at 25.
I think most people told us not to do what we did. Most people were like, hey, that's stressful and a bad idea. You should slow down.
Well, it wasn't really, we made a choice to choose that, of course, but we mostly made a choice to surrender our family to the Lord's will, and we felt very called to do that, and we didn't know what that would look like, and now we do, looking back, but it was hard, but I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, I agree. That surrender. We made a decision that our family and the family growth was going to be kind of open-handed, basically, right? So we decided that we were going to have as many kids as were given to us, and that we were just going to kind of roll with however that played out. And
whenever they come, in whatever timing. And, I think that it is human nature to shy away from things that are hard. And there's, a fine line between having healthy boundaries and things like that. But that really was the plan for us during that season of life. And I think my biggest character growth probably stems from some of the things that we went through in those years.
The suffering and the pain and we were kind of forced to grow up and to develop in that season. And a lot of it came from having these kids and having them in the time that we had, and just kind of being thrown into responsibility and growing responsibility over time.
I remember feeling so confused and a little guilty that my biggest blessings were the cause of so much of my biggest hardships. and having a really hard time reconciling that idea, like that they are so precious and like literally the biggest blessings in my life, but also the literal hardest thing in my life. It was a really crazy thing to experience.
I think it was interesting because our mental health, our physical health, our, everything that was going on and all of the stress that we were facing, we were not necessarily in a good place, but we were exactly, in my opinion, and probably in our opinion, we were exactly where we needed to be.
Yeah. Where we were supposed to be.
Yeah. These were the responsibilities that we felt like was ours to take on. And we had made a very conscious choice to have as many kids as God would give us and to be very open-handed with the timing of that. It was a very specific call on our lives that was not necessarily popular or encouraged by others, but that we have always felt unified in and have always moved through.
Yeah, we got a lot of pushback from people around us, and especially because it was so hard and so stressful and, took a toll for a long time. And financially, we were extremely poor and had a lot of student debt. So in the world's eye, it didn't make any sense. And it definitely is not something that I think is the calling for every single person. But I think that we just knew it so clearly that that was what we were supposed to do. And we both were so unified in that I have never, ever questioned, did we do the right thing? Should we have done it that way? Never once have I ever questioned our journey in that regard.
Yeah, I agree. I think that a lot of people saw the suffering and saw the stress and saw our journey, and especially people who were close to it or loved us, they saw all of that. They were overwhelmed, and they often spoke some of that, in our relationships with them, how overwhelmed it was or how overwhelming it was and how stressful it was. But the cool thing was that it was so unified. The decision was never one-sided, nor was it ever questioned, in the sense of like, we were always on the same page. That's what I mean. We were always on the same page. And so for us, we moved through those moments and through those seasons together. And we did the suffering together, and we were stressed together and overwhelmed together, and the blessings and the hardship, we did it all together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and being on the other side of that season of life now, and being in such a different place than what we once were, with each step we took away from that season of life, God gets the glory for everything. I mean, he provided for us in absolutely countless ways throughout that whole season. And then just did really some remarkable things for us in our life. And so it's just one of those situations where it just shows, well, that was not done by our own accord. There's nothing that we couldn't have possibly have transformed our lives and everything and circumstances in a way that he did. That was just only him. And so that's a cool thing that we can look back at and celebrate. And then also I just gained so much compassion and empathy for new moms or just moms in general, overwhelmed and struggling, and have a really big heart for them now.
Yeah, you do. And you have held on to that for a very long time. I've often been blessed with how often and how much of a blessing you are to moms around you. So we've got 3, 2, 1. They're adorable. they are a handful, and they are innocent. There's like pure innocence running around. I remember in my parenting frame at that time, I just couldn't see how blessed and innocent they were, how much fun they were, how they wanted to just be loved and have fun, and that they were exactly what they needed to be. I missed a lot of that because of the stress and because of how young and immature I was and how difficult the season was on, I think, every system imaginable. That was just crazy. So that made it very difficult to see the beauty in front of us. Looking back on the pictures, it's just crazy how cute and fun and perfect they all are.
And the tantrums and the meltdowns and the parenting struggles and all of that was so overwhelming that it kind of took the stage, and it clouded our vision to see their pure joy and energy. And that is all I see when I look back on pictures and videos from that time, is them laughing and playing and loving life. And that's not what I remember from that season of life, and that's not what I saw and felt in those moments. And living that, man, if I could go back, if I could tell my younger self, just take a step back, sometimes physically, and leave the house and take a break, but sometimes just in my mind, take a step back, take myself away from the loud crying and tantrums and meltdowns and the needs and demands of everyone around me. Just take a step back and see them for what they really are, see the little things that you love about them, that little curl, the little dimple on their hand, the little smile, that laugh, the way that it sounds right now, because it's not always going to sound exactly like that, and just soak up those things and treasure those things, put them away, store them in your heart, and just build those up in your heart and in your mind until that's what you see when you look at them, even when they're crying, even when they're having a hard time. I can do that now with our 5th child. That's pretty much all I see about him.
Yeah.
Is those things. And, even if I would have heard that back then in that time, I don't know if it would have changed a thing, but I do wish that I could have done that better.
Psychologically, there's an experience or a phenomena called flooding, right? It's when your cortisol levels are so high that it shuts down your brain, essentially, and your thinking brain. And I think our cortisol levels were high throughout these first 4 years, just the entire time. There was so much stress in the system, and I know for me, it shut off my ability to see things clearly, to see things as they were. I was so young, and I was learning about development, but I didn't know anything, and it just comes out. It came out like when I listened to how I talked to them. I was talking to them like 3, 2, and 1, like they were
adults.
Yeah, like and probably
6,
not even
7,
how
8.
I would want to talk to them at 8, 9, and 10. It's a little painful. It's a little shameful to hear some of the tone. To hear that's actually as I think about regret. I think the only thing I ever regret in our parenting is the times I felt like I was too harsh. Anytime that I was so overwhelmed and I made a decision, maybe not a decision, but I reacted. Yeah, I made a reaction, and it was a harsh one. Those are the things that I regret most, because there's no need. There's literally no need for harshness.
No, and they don't even understand it. I tell that to the girls all the time, that their little brother sometimes they'll be frustrated with him, or they'll say something to him, and they sound frustrated. I'll say, he doesn't even know what you're saying. He just can understand. He can just hear that you're mad at him, and that's all he knows, and he doesn't understand why or what he did or anything like that. So you can talk to him about what you're feeling frustrated about in a nice way, and, he's still not going to understand, but you have to be careful about how you sound when you're communicating with him. And they do a really good job of correcting themselves. But I agree. I also regret the harshness of our parenting when we were young and so stressed. And I spent years having to heal my relationship, especially with our oldest. Years. How many years do you think? Like 5, maybe?
Repairing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that in the last 2 years, it has blossomed.
We've been at this house for 4 years. So I think that the repair began definitely when we were at this house.
Yep. Yeah. I would say the last 2 years has been way different than the first 7.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it took a lot of time to undo and repair and heal that relationship. And I regret that for sure. But I also give ourselves some grace. We did absolutely the best that we could do with what we had and with our ages and stages, and we did the best that we could do.
Yeah. And it wasn't all bad. And the provision, like you said, there was so many gifts and blessings scattered throughout that season. A little word, a little blessing here or there, a meal, there were grandparents involved that are connected. There were, babysitters. We still stuck with our dates.
Every week. And I think that's what saved us. One of the things, I mean, obviously all the glory to the Lord, but one of the things that really helped our marriage and helped us keep our sanity, especially me during that season of hardness at home, was getting out every single week. And a lot of the dates were awful. They were just not great dates.
It's not like we would go out and escape and have fun together.
No.
We took our stress brains and we just
ate away our stress and snapped at each other, or were too tired to even talk. Either way, it's not like they were great dates, but
no.
We took the time, committed, we set aside that time, we made it a priority, we got the babysitters, we planned out places to go, they would be closed or it'd be terrible, whatever it was. But yeah, a year of dating each other once a week doesn't usually end in disappointment. Even if they are bad dates, they're probably still going to bless your relationship, improve your relationship.
I think that the 4 years that we spent intentionally dating one another forged the foundation for the rest of our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
There was a sharpening or like a hardening effect. It really solidified our knowledge and understanding of one another. It helped us to get little breaks from the stress so that we could continue on, even though they usually didn't even feel like breaks. And oftentimes we were so overwhelmed or anxious or stuck in something that we had really hard conversations. That's another thing I remember during this season is we continued to have the same hard conversations that we were having in years 1, 2, and 3. Conversations about ickiness, conversations about anxiety, conversations about, faithfulness, conversations about, media, conversations about lust, conversations about pretty much, those revolving door conversations. We had hundreds of them. Every year we had hundreds of those kinds of conversations because we wouldn't allow ourselves to not have conversations that would otherwise kind of seep into the foundation.
And fester.
And festa.
You were also working on your master's program at that time.
Yeah.
Kind of finishing that up.
It was the last year of it. Yeah. Well, now I'm second guessing myself.
When we moved to the mobile home, is that the first year that you started counseling?
Yeah.
So you started counseling in February and we moved to the mobile home in March?
Yeah, but I did the internship starting in August.
So that would have been this year because...
No way. Are you joking?
Because we moved to the mobile home in March 2019.
Oh, I think you're right.
And then our fourth was born right after that.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so that means that in the beginning of this year, we were finishing up the last semester, the spring semester of my master's program, all the coursework.
Mm-hmm.
That summer 2018, and this whole year, we looked toward the future and we saw that we were going to have to do a 6-month unpaid internship.
Full-time
internship. The reason it had to be full-time was because in order to get all of the hours that are required in order to complete the internship, you would have to work at a full-time rate in order to finish all the hours. And so we decided that we were going to save up all the money that we would need in order to survive that season. And
as much as we could save up, yeah.
Yep. So we saved our tax return, I remember, and that gave us a boost. And then we were saving as I was working. I actually had a job change this year. In May, my job changed from one job to the other, which is what a job change.
No, really? I never worked a job. I wouldn't know.
Your job literally hasn't changed for the last 10 years.
10 years.
But yeah, so we were saving.
And then we also asked our church
to
help pay. They paid half of our rent every month for those 6 months. And we lived off of WIC and free food from our church. They did a free food giveaway thing.
The crazy thing about that food giveaway thing at the church was that it ended basically right after this internship phased out. Basically, there was an issue where the grocery store that was giving the leftovers to the church, some sort of governmental agency came in and said, hey, you can't be doing that anymore because of XYZ rules. But it wasn't until after this internship had ended. Mm-hmm. And
food lasted literally as exactly how much we needed it.
Yeah.
Just like the manna in the desert.
Yeah, it was crazy, the timing of it and how the provision was just perfect for it. Mm-hmm. So we started the internship later that year, started in later August, and then it went through January, I believe. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. Yep. So that's the 6 months. So we went unpaid during that season and just had to kind of
literal $0 coming in.
Yeah. Literal. That's what that means too.
But that was, I don't even look back. I mean, everything was provided for. Absolutely everything was provided for. I think I look back on that season and feel more provided for sometimes in some of the current seasons that we're in now. Yeah. So sometimes less is more.
Right. And the purpose and the responsibility was so clear. Our purpose, we were so unified in that season. There was zero disunification because we were pulling so together and so in sync, even though we were fighting, even though there was chaos, even though there was stress, even though there was lots of conflict. We were so unified in our goal and our aim that there was clarity and peace in areas that shouldn't have clarity and peace, like not being paid or not having finances, because everything was taken care of and we were so together in it.
So if you're looking for some added unity in your marriage, find a goal that you both are passionate about and want to dive in together and work fully united towards this goal. And I mean, it'll do some amazing things.
Yeah, if you're feeling stale in your relationship right now, or you're struggling to like have fun or enjoy each other, having an aim, having a very specific unified goal, it kind of clarifies, like it makes a lot of things fade away. Like a lot of the nonsense, a lot of the like side stuff.
And it could be literally any goal. Maybe you want to do a 5K. Maybe you need a new deck and it costs a lot of money. So you decide to rent out your house together and earn some money to get a new deck, because that's what our goal is right now. And that's what we're currently doing. And that brought a lot of unity to our marriage in this current season where we needed some. And it did some good things for us.
Yeah. Yeah, those goals were really important, and they definitely helped us to move through that season. That, the dating, the shared values, it was a good deal. The apartment was still incredibly small, that's for sure.
Small, messy, crowded, no AC, hot, pregnant.
Again, for the fourth time.
But I'm thankful for it.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that little apartment and our time there. We had the sweetest neighbors who were so sweet to us and lived in a house right next to our apartment building. And they had a swing set in their backyard, and they were they were grandparents and they had little grandkids. So they had all the stuff for little kids, and they had us over all of the time. And
they basically gave us permission to come over and use the
swing set
all the time.
Yeah.
So we were over there pretty much every day that we could be out there. Mm-hmm. Even in the winter, we have videos of them,
swinging and running around in the snow. And yeah,
that was a godsend.
They were good to us.
And then this year, actually, we had upstairs neighbors that we met, and they had 2 little kids, and they were very sweet and very good to our kids. They
like to play with the kids too.
Yeah, it was a good time. Still sleeping on the floor. This whole year, I think actually we slept on the floor because we had number 3 that whole time. Mm-hmm. And so we're sleeping on that floor the whole year on a twin mattress that we borrowed from my sister. You've heard that story already. But that's where we're sleeping. The no AC thing was very real. I almost feel like it was like a really hot summer. I could be totally wrong, but was 2018 like a super hot summer?
I don't remember. I'm sure it was hot though.
Oof, I remember it being miserable. Do you remember the drug dealing?
Yes, that happened shortly before we moved. Mm-hmm. A new person moved into the apartment right above us. Mm-hmm. And was doing some shady dealings in the parking lot, and it was right in front of our big bay window, so we could see everything. And I remember thinking, what else could they be doing? I mean, it was so obvious that even a, Christian sheltered stay-at-home mom could tell what was going on. So I reported them after we moved.
Yeah, we waited until we were
out of
far
there.
away. But yeah, it was weird because I remember some fear around it. You talking about it, and there they are again, and I keep seeing this thing, and they're like, people are coming in, and like there's exchanges of money, and something is exchanging hands, and then they're gone. It was a little crazy.
It was shady.
Very shady.
But the apartment was great. Well, it lasted.
Yeah, and it lasted this entire year.
We did leave. So in 2019, we left the apartment. And,
March.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not this year.
Yeah, so not this year. So I guess that's the story of us getting basically asked to leave. Is for another time.
Well, I think, when did it? Because we took a long time. Do you think that we got that? So we
moved like 2 weeks before.
But we got the notice.
Or maybe even 10 days before we were supposed to move.
But we got the notice, and then we had to ask for an extension. Do you remember that?
We did ask for an extension, and then we moved like right before.
Should we just tell
that
story?
Days before we needed to be out of there.
So the beginning of the story is that we were awful, stressed out, adorable apartment tenants. And we eventually were asked to leave the apartment.
Because our children were loud in the hallways and
Yes.
running in the hallways. And also, I think the people who lived below us said the kids were loud in the apartment.
Yeah. And we had left some stuff outside in the front, which was not okay.
None of those things were listed as reasons, though.
But we were obnoxious. Like there was some, like we didn't take very good care of our things.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to go into all of the things that we did wrong in this season at the apartment. It was very stressful. It was really crazy. But we were not the best of tenants, and we were asked to vacate, which was stressful because we were making nothing.
Literally $0 coming in.
That's what nothing means.
And that's the season when we needed to apply for a new place to live.
Yep. So
So
no
we
income,
had no pay stubs.
no job.
We had bad credit.
Oh no! This is probably the year that we found that out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to start that one out?
No.
Okay. Should I tell it?
It's for another time. It's not even that year anyways.
We had bad credit. Remember, we found out that.
Yeah. But
So we were going to apply.
we're getting
for a
into
house.
2019,
Oh.
and we're also getting into my bedtime.
That was your bedtime a long time ago, sweetie.
It was.
But yeah, it was a crazy year. There was a lot going on. But we were well taken care of, even though we didn't even necessarily know that we were really well taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
There were some principles that definitely saw us through the dating and working really diligently toward a shared goal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the story.
That's the scoop.
If you have any if you have any stories if you have any questions on year 4 or year 3 or year 2, feel free to ask. If you want to rate the podcast 5 of the stars, then you may do so. We're actually up to 14. I didn't tell you what we are on Spotify, which is cool. And
I don't even know what that means.
well, that's okay. So yeah, if you want to do any of those things, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, or if you know anybody whose marital story is really interesting, really killer, would be really encouraging, or is actually, really stressful or difficult, feel free to refer them to us as we continue to seek to do some more interviews. That's going to be a lot of the things coming down the pike, is setting up different interviews. So feel free to reach out if you have a story that you think would be good for the pod.
Now it's the part where we say, okay, goodbye.
No, I've actually started saying, this is the end.
This is the end.
Everything. I got you and me. All I want. I got all I need.
We turn, let's see, 15, 22, 23, 24. We turn 25 then? Yeah.